Okay, and we're back. Week 14 of the NFL is here. There are many teams that are in basically win or get out situations, and they're playing each other. So let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
All right, dude, have you seen some of the matchups this week? It might be one of the better weeks of football we've had all season. Because, I mean, it helps when, you know, there's stakes involved. And I don't mean the ones that you eat. I mean, like actual steaks. But this whole season has been bizarre. And it's led to, honestly, pretty good matchups where everything feels like it's on the line. Though not entirely, because even if some of these teams lose, the overall, there's no clear-cut winner in any division other than a few, let's say, for example, the Patriots, that everything still feels like it's on the line. A lot of divisions are still up in the air, and they're playing a lot of their division rivals. So I'm very excited for this week of football. It's looking, at least on paper, to be one of the funner ones of the year. I don't know what you think.
I think there's going to be a lot of upsets this weekend. That's my prediction.
You mean fans or game-wise?
Hopefully not in terms of, me being upset. I usually am after seeing my picks.
Of course.
But no, there's a lot of matchups I'm really excited for this weekend.
All right. Actually, if you want to go through the picks results real quick, let me just see here.
We don't have to go through those.
I mean, I didn't do terrible last week. I think
we tied, actually.
Yeah, 10-6, so not that bad. I'm stupid. Why did I go for the Giants? Why? I had a gut feeling. My gut's stupid, so I apologize, internet. Overall rankings, you're still above me. Yeah, but I'm inching closer. I'm clawing my way back in. I'm clawing, so little by little, I still have a shot. Again, just like
carrot. I just got the carrot right there. I'm just wiggling for it.
You're just teasing me.
I'm always ahead.
You tease. So Roro Ames looks he's like in front. Gus Becerra, I think he's front. So David is also doing good. So it's gonna be hard to catch up to them, but I still can catch up to you. So there you go. Before we get into. Oh, okay. Let me just go back. So before we get into our predictions, let's just go really quickly through the hot seat, which I've updated. Okay, so first off, Brian Callahan and Brian Dable fired. Both Brian's out of here. No more Brian head coaches. It's illegal. Next, the hottest seat, in my humble opinion, right now is for Falcons head coach Raheem Morris. I don't think there's been a more disappointing season than his. I don't think an organization is in more need of a rehaul than the Falcons, and I think there's a lot of buyer's remorse for their quarterback situation, for their backup quarterback situation, for their head coach situation. So I'm pretty sure, and the owner is desperate for a Super Bowl because he can feel himself being close to death. And the team was pretty good. They had a really good roster, which, just imploded. So they just lost to the Jets.
A pretty good roster.
Yeah, they lost to the Jets, which is never a good sign. So I think the hottest seat of all right now is currently in Atlanta. On the other hand, well, you're gonna say something?
No. Keep shitting on the Falcons.
No, I was gonna move on. So I was gonna give you an opportunity to shit on the Falcons if you want.
I mean, it's just so heartbreaking to see such an organization.
Such a fine organization.
I mean, look, they got so close, and they had they have a hell of a wide receiver in Drake London.
Sure. Hell of a running back.
They got the guy. Yeah, they hell of a running back. They got the guys. They gave me a lot of points week to week. It's just. There's just something about being the fucking Falcons.
They're losers. They lose. So
they have it in their blood.
Yeah, and they make stupid ass decisions. So hopefully, whoever made the decision not to get Bill Belichick loses their job very quickly. But we'll see how it goes. Also to not hire Mike Vrabel or anybody else, but let's continue. Somebody I'm taking off. I'm officially taking him off the hot seat is Aaron Glenn of the Jets. I feel like the Jets are kind of turning it around a bit. Enough for him to get a bit of a reprieve. Again, it's a first-year head coach. Things were looking really bad, and that's why I had him in the hot seat. But I think the vibes are turning around, as you mentioned yesterday in a clip that I had to delete because we were having sound issues yesterday. You mentioned that the Jets are the best of the worst teams. So, you know, they're trending in the right direction. I mean, they're still in hell, but you know, they're closer to purgatory.
I mean, they're just fucking up their draft pick.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Jets head coach is always a perpetually hot seated position.
Yeah, definitely. Next, we have Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins. I believe his seat is not as hot anymore, but still, I don't see that relationship lasting another year. It all depends on what happens in the next few games, but Zach Taylor of the Bengals, if they miss the playoffs, again, he has the advantage that the Bengals are cheap and they don't fire people, but they don't like to pay people not to work, so that's his one advantage. But yeah, the Bengals have had a beyond disappointing season. Their only luck is that everybody else in the AFC North sucks balls this year, so they still have a shot, but still. Next, Kevin Stefanski from the Browns. I think he's in a no-win situation, mainly because if Shador is good, well then he looks like an idiot for not playing him. If Deshaun Watson returns to play this week, everybody's going to fucking hate him. If whatever happens, the Browns have sucked for years now. Under his tutelage. So they had Joe Flacco. They went to the playoffs and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Let's just trade Joe Flacco to a division rival.
Did they go to the playoffs with Joe Flacco?
Yeah, that was the season. Yeah.
Mayfield.
No. It was with Joe Flacco. So I don't know. Point is, I think Kevin Stefanski needs to get out of there quickly. But the Browns, they just hurt people. Next,
in general, it's not so much that the Browns need to get rid of Stefanski. It's more like, Stefanski, you got to get out of there, bro.
Yeah,
it's the Browns.
The Browns just need to stop existing. Jonathan Gannon of the Arizona Cardinals. What?
That's a fucking quote right there.
Oh man. I just ruined my own political career. Somebody's gonna take that clip out of context, and my future political career is over. I'm done. I'm canceled in this life and the next. God damn.
Haters are gonna say this was AI.
I'm gonna say it's AI. I've always said that it's brilliant to just throw out a whole bunch of AI clips of you doing like horrible shit, like punching old ladies and stuff. And then when people has a video of something you did for real, you're like, it's AI. That's been out there for years. There's videos of me punching old ladies, and I only did that once. So stuff like that.
And I was sure nobody would record.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, Jonathan Gannon, hot seat. The Cardinals, beyond disappointing as well. Might be the second most disappointing season behind the Falcons. The one thing that extra hurts for the Cardinals is that everybody in their division is really good. So they are like really extra pathetic. Falcons, at least the Saints are below them. So, they have somebody they can kick down to. Next, newly added to the hot seat by popular demand, by the chance of their own fan base, one Mike Tomlin. It's rough. They were 5-1 at one point in the season. Their closest rival was, I believe, 2-2. No, 2-4, something like that. They had a very good lead.
Ravens started shit.
Yeah, they had a really good lead in their division, and now they are currently out on the outside looking in with a 6-6 record. So that's not a good stretch of games. And the fans started booing him. His quarterback has a broken wrist. Their defense is old, and apparently their defense has played more snaps than any other defense in the NFL this season. And so they're old and they're tired, and they're overpaid. So not good. Might be a fresh start for Mike Tomlin is what's needed. and for the Steelers fan base. So finally, newly added to the list.
Where do you think he would go? You know where I think he would do well?
Don't say the Browns.
Oh, I like Mike Tomlin.
Falcons?
I was thinking the Falcons.
Yeah, I think, honestly, maybe Miami. Mainly because the issue with Miami, there's too many ways to fuck up over there, right? You can't have somebody who's a nice, like a player's guy, all that stuff. You need somebody who's a hard ass to keep them in line, to make sure they don't go to the club the day before or stuff like that. There's too many distractions in Miami. So I think Mike Tomlin might be able to do that, but who knows? And finally, newly added to the hot seat, Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Oh my God. Talk about a team that felt, like it had all the momentum behind them. The fan base was hyped up. Pete Carroll, Super Bowl winning Pete Carroll, chasing Jim Harbaugh once again, try to ruin his freaking day. Not so much anymore, man. You got swept by the Chargers. And everybody knows this. If the Raiders could only win 2 games in the season, the Raider fans would pick those 2 games to be against the Chargers. Any Raider fans will tell you that. Well, at least the old school ones. The Vegas ones, maybe not so much, but the old school ones. The criminals.
At this point, maybe the Chiefs.
No, I've had that conversation before with several Raiders fans because, in other jobs that I've had, I've worked with Raider fans, unfortunately, and I'm out of there. But they told me
about the fact that they're terrible people. That's right.
Yeah, they told me that to my face. Like, I don't care if we don't win any games this season, as long as the 2 games that we do win, as long as the games that we win are against the Chargers. That's the only thing I care about. Granted, they were San Diego Raiders fans, so
also horrendous people.
The worst of the worst. The disease of humanity. But anyway, that's it. That's the hot seat. We'll see who's the next to get fired. Again, if my money is on Raheem Morris, but we'll see. Let's move on to our predictions for week 14, and we'll check out the playoff picture once we're done. So are you ready with your picks page?
Yeah, I already got my picks locked in.
Why do you do that?
Because
it's easier.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like, what if you
I was gonna say because it's been working for me. It's like, wait, no.
Yeah, I was like, what if you change your mind? But anyway, like, what if a new piece of information that you didn't have before suddenly pops up? And I'm stupidly give you a hint. But anyway, let's begin. Thursday night football, a phenomenal matchup.
Oh yes, the best strategy is to listen to what you say.
You know what? Fair enough. Phenomenal matchup. We have the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Detroit Lions. 2 teams on the outside looking in the playoff picture. Whoever loses this game might be out of the playoffs altogether. Both of them, I believe they still need a little bit of help. The Cowboys more than the Lions because the Lions at least still play the Bears. And so they might have a little bit more control over their future. Cowboys not so much. They need a lot of they cannot lose this one if they want to still be in contention. And so both of them played on Thursday on Thanksgiving, so no team actually has a break advantage over the other. So with all things being said, I think the Dallas Cowboys are on a hot streak. They look like the hotter team right now. But Detroit's at home. They don't lose back-to-back games, so I'm going to go with the Lions. Also because I want the Lions to win more than the Cowboys, because if the Cowboys get eliminated from contention, then it doesn't matter when they play the Chargers. So I'm going with the Lions. Eric, who do you like?
Oh, man. I think the Cowboys have been hot lately. I think they got hot at just the right time. I think their defense is spicy. I think CD and Prescott, they cooking.
Yep.
Lions are beat up.
Yes.
It just overall, it just doesn't feel like, they're like you say. How do you say they're not all the way buttoned up?
They're not buttoned up. No, definitely not buttoned up.
They're at 2 buttons at the most.
And it's the lower ones.
Yeah. And they actually skipped one, so they got to go back to do it all over again.
Definitely, yes, I agree. That what, I can see them, and they're wearing the stupid shirts that doesn't have the logo on it. No, it's stupid.
You don't know what team it is. It's like the make a team, in fucking Madden.
It's like a Build-A-Bear right there,
right there.
And it's extra offensive because there's a lions and it's a bear. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. So with all that, I think I'm gonna stick with the Cowboys.
Fair enough.
I think they got all the momentum.
Honestly, that's a good pick. I was hoping that you would go with that one so that we would be different. So, all right, cool. God went away, so God picked the Cowboys. How about them boys?
I also want to let everybody know I took a lot of NyQuil before this show.
Dude,
so my picks.
I saw our video from yesterday, and yeah, I had to cut out a lot of stuff, because suddenly the audio went out, and I was listening to myself, I was looking at myself, I was like, holy shit, man, I look tired. Like the pauses that I'm taking, I'm forgetting everybody's names, and so I was like, man, maybe we shouldn't do this on Tuesdays, the day that I wake up at 3 a.m. Maybe we should do this another time. But then it's like, well, when? If not now, when? So we need to figure out some stuff maybe for next season, but whatever. Let's continue. First of the Sunday games, we have the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Eric, you go first.
Fuckity fuck the Falcons. Fuckity fuck the Falcons. I think the Seahawks are a scary team right now.
Yeah,
sir. I think they might be the best team in their division. Hot take. I know they got the Rams there, but I like what they're doing with their defense. I think Sam Darnold is, when he's playing from the front, I think he's cool. And then when you start seeing ghosts, who fucking cares? They're going against the Falcons. They're going to beat them. Yeah,
I agree. The Seahawks might have the best defense in the league, or at least, in contention. They've been red hot for a while. They looked almost unstoppable there for a minute until they, met the Rams. So I'm just going to go with the Seahawks. Falcons, as I said, head coach firing impending. But let's see what God says. Guy went away.
As I said, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck the Falcons. Next interesting matchup. We have the Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills. Another game that you wouldn't think that a 4-8 against an 8-4 team would be interesting. But both of these teams, massive playoff implications. Now, the Bengals have the tougher road to the playoffs because, unfortunately for them, both of their division rivals are tied 2 games above them, and they're going to play each other twice, meaning that one of those teams is at least going to, one or both of those teams are going to at least win 1 game. One of them might win 2. So and you need to win that division to make it to the playoffs. So the best thing that could happen to Cincinnati is for them to, I guess, win, to split the wins. The worst thing that could happen is for one team to take both. So they need a lot of help, is my point. The Bills are tied, and I believe they have the tiebreaker. They don't have the tiebreaker against the Texans, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You believe they have against the Bills and the Texans?
Yeah, I believe they played earlier in the year, and yeah, they played on November 20th, and the Texans won. So there's a probability that if the Texans move up, the Bills go down, which is, again, no bueno for them. So if they lose this game, they might be out of the playoffs if the Texans win. So it's do or die time. Both teams are desperate. Both teams need a win desperately. So you weren't expected, but phenomenal matchup at a phenomenal time of the year. 2 of the elite quarterbacks. One team that's maybe getting its shit together, after beating down the Steelers. The other team, they just got their star QB back, so they're 10 times more dangerous than before. Their defense actually stopped another team. So it's interesting. That being said, I'm taking the home team. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Eric, who do you like?
Oh man, I hear the weather in Buffalo is gonna fucking suck.
Yes.
So,
but the Bengals.
Yeah,
They lost.
can-
They now have an indoor training facility, so they've lost their edge.
They're getting weak.
Yes.
I think, man, it's too much of a fairy tale for the Bengals to make it. They need a lot of help. The Bills playing at home. I'm not gonna overthink it. Home team.
Fair enough. All right, let's see what God says. I was hoping you would go Bengals. God picked home. So next we have
My boss is actually gonna be at that game.
your boss is gonna go to Buffalo.
Well, he's got friends there, and he's a Bengals fan, so.
There's so many weird things about. I was gonna ask if he was gonna break a table, but now it wouldn't make any sense. But you know what? Good for him, I guess. I mean, good for him. Rough season though. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Cleveland Browns, who may or may not play Deshaun Watson. So, you go first.
Honestly, I would start Shador because this would be a good game for for him to get his confidence.
That would be what a good organization might do.
Oh God, am I going with the Titans? Nah, give me the Browns. Fucking, this is the. Have you ever seen the meme of The Simpsons where it's the kids watching the two monkeys fight?
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids are like all the shitty teams, like the Jets and the Falcons and the Dolphins, and they're all surrounding, and the monkeys are these two teams fighting.
By the way, you're wrong. It's not the kids, it's the adults. They're like on a boat. So once they reach the open seas, they're like, there's no law anymore. And they're like, and they're gambling on the monkey fighting. But yeah, I know what you meant. I'm gonna go with the Browns. I think the Browns have a better defense. That's it. That's the only argument that I have. The Tennessee Titans, the interim head coach knows his job, and his job is to tank. So we'll see how that goes. Got picked away. Next, we have Washington Commanders against Minnesota Vikings. There's actually nothing special about this game. Nothing exciting. It's one team that's 3-9, one team that's 4-8. We don't know if JJ McCarthy's playing. Whatever. I'm gonna do it quick. Home team, Minnesota. Even if they don't have a quarterback. Eric, what do you like?
Commanders played pretty good last week. I'm gonna go with them.
I mean, the Minnesota defense played pretty good, but yeah. The issue was in the offense.
Did they?
The defense looked pretty good. Got picked home, so he went with Minnesota. Next, Miami Dolphins at New York versus the New York Jets. Eric, you go first.
Man, 3 strikes and we're out.
Right?
Talk about the fucking slump. Sure, Dolphins, sure.
Okay, I'll take the Jets. I need to make a move, and I feel Dolphins can't play in December in cold weather, and it's New York, and I hear it's gonna be cold, so that's my logic. Also at home.
Fair.
Got picked home. Next, New Orleans Saints against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Easy. Buccaneers, good team. Saints, bad team. Eric, who do you like? And Buccaneers at home.
It should be easy. It feels like one of those
Trap games
that the Saints could totally steal, but I'm gonna go with the Bucs anyway.
Yeah, no, they might, but I doubt it. Got picked home. Also the Bucs, they got the freaking Panthers nipping at their heels. So if they lose, they may not be on top of the division anymore. So they need to get the act together. Next, Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now this is an interesting matchup. Their first matchup of the year. Colts in Clown Town. Massive playoff implications. If the Colts win, they take control of the division again. If they lose, they might be out of the playoffs in general if the Texans win. So it means more to the Colts. However, the Colts don't win in Clown Town. So I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars on this one. Eric, who do you like?
That's beautiful because I also remember that the Colts do not win in Clown Town. Which is why I'm sticking with Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
All right, let me flip going real quick. God picked away, so got one of the Colts. I was considering
in general. I would say out of the better teams in the NFL, I would say the Colts are the ones in the worst trajectory right now.
Yeah, their schedule is not at all good. Let me just see it real quick. Like it's unenviable.
They at least got the Texans again. And
They
the
have
Jaguars again.
all right. So they go Jaguars, Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. That is brutal. If they win the majority of these games and make it to the playoffs, they are going to be one of the toughest teams to take out. But it's not looking good. They really need to win this one. I don't see them doing it though. It's going to be rough. And then the Seahawks and 49ers. Eesh.
They had some pretty good opportunities to get really far ahead so that, they could afford to lose a few.
They were really far ahead. They were really far ahead.
I think they were number 1 overall in the AFC at some point, right?
Yeah. But they were undefeated. They were the team that remained undefeated the longest. But, shit happens. Okay. Next, another game with major playoff implications. For the AFC North, we have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams 6-6. Both teams need to get their heads out of their asses. However, one of them just has a quarterback with a broken wrist. The other one has, a quarterback who I don't know why does not look like himself anymore. So that's no bueno. Advantage Ravens at home, so I'm gonna go with the Ravens at home. I honestly don't think either of these teams wants to win right now. If the Ravens remember that they have Derrick Henry and they use him more than 10 times in the game, they should win. I'm not sure if they're smart enough. Eric, who do you like? Damn it, I went first.
Yeah. I was still gonna go the Ravens anyway, but my logic is more about the fact that I feel like the Steelers are just not motivated at this point.
They're imploding. They're imploding bad. The vibes
like
in Pittsburgh.
If you listen to how their stadium was booing them, like I was like, I don't know. At that point, I would sort of see the writing on the wall for a lot of people in that building.
Yeah, and honestly, it's time. It's time. All right, got one away. Got one with the Steelers. So there you go. Next, we have the Denver Broncos visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. Eric, you go first, and I'm.
Wouldn't it be funny?
It would be hysterical. It would be it would be the greatest thing ever, probably. Except, because that means that the Raiders won. But I think it's unlikely. I would like it to happen, but I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one of these.
Mm-hmm.
As well.
Yep.
Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Come on. Gotta pick the Raiders. Next, one of the most important NFC North matches in a very long time. The Chicago Bears visiting the Green Bay Packers. I don't think these games. I don't think games between these two franchises have mattered for a decade. So, for the first time ever, will the Chicago Bears totally and completely take control? Well, I guess not first time ever. Take control of the NFC North, or will the Packers just shellac them? Chicago Bears are on a hot streak, 9-3. Green Bay Packers 8-3-1. I believe you said that your strategy was to continue going against the Bears. Man, I think the Packers are going to win this one. The Bears defense is very injured in the middle, particularly linebackers. They played really good against the Philadelphia Eagles, but they're still very injured. I think they're still a bit too green. I mean, Ben Johnson did give fits to the Green Bay Packers when he was with the Lions. I don't think they're ready. I think they're ahead of schedule, but they're still a year behind. The Packers, I think they're settled. They started off rough. They dropped some dumbass games, but now they don't look as bad drops because they tied against the Cowboys, and we see how they look now. They lost against the Panthers, and the Panthers beat apparently elite teams. So
they're the best team.
So I want to pick the Packers, but I need to make a move. I'm gonna pick the Bears, and I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna make that move. Eric, who do you like?
Man, you are gonna regret it. Because that ain't doing shit for you. Because I got the Bears too.
Go what? I thought you're.
Nope, I told you. If they won last week, I'm officially declaring them for real, for real.
But you said you were gonna keep doing them the favor of not picking them.
No, because now they're for real. So now I can pick them.
now
now they're fucked.
Damn it. Fair enough. All right, whatever. God picked away. So
my picks are all. Hey, by the way, my picks are locked in. You know, just so you know. So I just. It's just how the cookie crumbled. I predicted.
Listen. At least you ain't getting a point on me on this one. So there you go. Next, we have the Rams visiting the Cardinals. So Cardinals at home. I agree. Yep. Not even conversation worthy. Give me the Rams. Got picked away. Got one of the Rams. And then
I love that your initial logic was like, yeah, Cardinals at home.
Yeah.
Not just, they're playing the fucking Rams.
No, they're at home. I mean, the Rams lost against the Panthers, so you don't know about them. But the Cardinals at home, fuck it, easy money.
You say that as if the Panthers were not the best team in football right now.
Fair enough. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, and they beat the man. Next, Sunday Night Football. The most high-stakes game of the weekend. The domino that'll knock all other dominoes. The moment the Kansas City Chiefs might finally fall out of playoff contention. Actually, no, it wouldn't, but whatever. They would need a lot of help at this point, right? Yeah, the Houston Texans visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, at this point, getting for the Chiefs, winning the division is almost impossible. Like, they're 4 games behind from the Broncos, and they have 5 games left. That means that the Broncos drop quite a few, and they win out. And the Chiefs win out, which is, again, very, very doubtful that both of those things happen. Texans are on a hot streak. They may have the best defense in the NFL. I believe the Seahawks have something to say there, but they might have it. The CJ Stroud returned. They were able to move the ball. This team has to be pissed because the Chiefs have owned them for the last 2 seasons, particularly in the playoffs. They've been, knocking them out. So, Eric, you go first, or do I go first? No, you got the fucking Rams one. Yeah. All right, so your thing has been picking Kansas City, and they lose. I'm hoping you'll keep that one because I'm going to go with the Texans. Again, like I said yesterday, the Chiefs have always sucked. It's just that, well, they haven't been as good as their record has reflected on previous seasons. It's just that, the refs have bailed them out, and this season proves it. I think the Texans are able to go into Arrowhead and knock the freaking Chiefs in their asses. Eric, what do you like?
Oh, spit. Of course I'm taking the Chiefs here.
Of course. I'm not gonna break, the curse. No, you can't. It's illegal.
Taking them down with me.
All right, let me see.
It feels like it would be a winnable game for them.
Got one away, by the way.
They are getting desperate, and it feels like they can sort of pull these games out of their ass sometimes. But man, I'm really hoping that fucking Texans defense, the way they've been playing, I hope they come in there and they whoop some Kermit ass.
Well, both teams are desperate. Let me just check really quickly on the Texans schedule, which is, not great for them. But it's not as terrible, though. Actually, the Texans have a pretty good schedule. They go against the Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, Colts. So, I mean,
2 easy wins.
They at least. And so if they can take care of the Chiefs here, I mean, again, they have a massive opportunity to get back in if the Colts lose. So,
which is likely.
Actually, no. I guess because the Colts and the Jaguars are both 8-4. Let me just see the AFC standings real quick.
Yeah, and the Texans are 7-5, right?
Yeah. So if
they win and the Colts lose, they might be in, right?
I think if either of them lose, let me just check it real. 8-4. For conference, Jacksonville is 5-2. Indianapolis is 6-3. Houston is 6-2. So Houston has the best conference record, and if they beat the Chiefs, they'd be 7-2. So whoever loses between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Colts is out of the playoffs. And if the Texans win, the Texans are in. So, I mean,
good motivation.
Yeah. On the other hand, you got the Chiefs who are desperate, massively desperate, playing for their playoff, not just their playoff, their dynasty's live. So how likely is it for them to pull a rabbit out of their ass? I don't know, man. Again, it's an interest. Let me just see the Chiefs schedule real quick. I'm curious. Let's see how fucked they are.
I just want to see a postseason where I don't have to listen to like all the commentators and whatnot be like, we're thinking about all the teams who can make it and all the scenarios. It's like, but you can never count out the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I don't.
Yeah. All right. So Chiefs have the Texans, then Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. So 2 easy games, Titans, Raiders, theoretically. 3 tough games. However, all 3 of those are at home. So the tough games are at home in Arrowhead. It might be, if the Texans beat them, that the Chargers are the ones who knock them out next week. That would be...
Go.
That would be... Oh my God. Oh my God. That would be... delicious. That would be
I've
like
never needed more.
That would be like Benicio del Toro's like magnificent. So yeah, please Texans, you gotta do it. You gotta do it for the team. Next, final game of the weekend, Monday Night Football. You have the Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles, visiting the LA Chargers. Eric, who do you like?
Oh man, how's Herbie's hand doing?
I believe he had surgery and it went okay. Like now, I saw his press conference and he was like, yeah, well now it's just a matter of the swelling coming down, and if the doctors say it's ready to go, it's gonna be ready to go. Apparently they added some protection, so I'm pretty sure it's what I thought. Like there was a fracture and they just needed to stabilize it and protect it. So we don't know how much it's gonna impede him, but the surgery went well according to, again, Justin Herbert, or well,
luckily
what his doctor said.
We got Omarion Hampton back.
I think so.
For the game. And I mean, him and Vidal, they can be splitting snaps, doing some damage on the ground. You don't need to put as much on Herbie. And, if you need to, Herbie can still sling the ball. Eagles have not been looking good.
Nope.
Could be desperate. But I'm going to go with my guys. The Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was always going to pick the Chargers anyway. Let me see what God says. God went home. So listen, it's not a great matchup because the Eagles have a really good front seven and the Chargers have a terrible O-line. So that's never good. However, oh man, the picks did not save again. Anyway, so it's not a good matchup for them that way. It's all going to come down probably to the defense. I'm trying to be positive here. And I'm trying to think of maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Because now Greg Roman and his scheme needs to focus around protecting Herbert more. And the way you protect Herbert, again, is either with better O-line play or him not having the ball in his hands, right? Because they need to get the ball out of his hands quickly, which means handing it to the running back, screens, quick passes, all that good stuff. And they're really good at it. They have wide receivers that are hard to bring down. They have yak players. Freaking Kimani Badal, he had like 127 yards last week, and 125 came after contact. So They have really good yak players. Use them more. Use it quickly. I think the game plan is going to revolve around that. The Bears gave you a blueprint of what you can do to run the ball against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they haven't been running the ball that well this season. So you have a shot. I would feel 100 times better if Herbert hadn't just had surgery in his hands. But again, use this to your advantage. Throw in Trey Lance there every once in a while. Do a wildcat and just, confuse them. Do something. Be creative. But
your opponent can't know what you're gonna do if you yourself don't know what you're gonna do.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers. If they lose this one, it's okay. It'll be within my games that I expected them to play to lose this season, and it's out of conference, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Unfortunately, that might knock them out of the playoffs. I hope not, but it might if they lose. Because let's see, it depends on what happens with the Texans. Actually, no, because the Chargers have, I think, the best conference record out of everybody. They're 7-2 in the conference, so no, they would still stay in, I think, but they would drop all the way to the bottom. I think it depends on what happens between if the Bills win or if the Texans win. So we'll see.
Chargers haven't lost the division game, have they?
They've not lost the game in their division, and they're 7-2 in the conference, which is great. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Let's move on to the playoff picture. So I'm gonna go back to the big screen here, and we can check this out real quick. Here we go. Damn it. Cool. So in the AFC, we have the Patriots, who are on a bye week and currently sitting at 11-2 at number 1. Number 2, we have the Broncos at 10-2, Jaguars at 8-4, Ravens 6-6, Chargers 8-4, Colts 8-4, Bills 8-4. On the outside looking in, we have the Texans at 7-5, the Steelers at 6-6, the Chiefs at 6-6, and I'll mention the Dolphins at 5-7 and Bengals at 4-8, just because the Bengals are still kind of relevant because they could still, sneak into their division. On the NFC, we have the Bears at 9-3, Rams at 9-3, Eagles at 8-4, Buccaneers at 7-5, Seahawks 9-4, Packers 8-3-1, and the 49ers at 9-4. So overall, the NFC is doing a little bit better, but I think a lot of it has to do with a bunch of divisional games still not being played amongst each other. So, Eric, how do you feel about the playoff picture as of right now?
Honestly, if we're looking at positioning for the Chargers, let's assume that, they're probably not going to win the division, so let's put them in a wild card slot. I actually kind of want them to go against the Ravens if we have to pick, or anybody but the Jaguars.
Okay.
That would be my take on that. And I think the Colts are going to get out of there. They think they got a hell of a schedule, and the Texans are going to sneak right in there.
All right. So you're saying Colts out, Texans in, and that's it? That's the only change?
I can't see anything else obvious here. Either the Bears lose, they might just switch with the Packers, right? Or are they one game with?
No, if the Bears lose, I think they drop all the way to 7.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So again, that's
wait, but how are they doing? How are they doing compared to the 49ers? 49ers are in a bye, right?
Yeah. So they would drop to 9-4, but the 49ers have a better conference record, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. They are 8-2 in the conference. Bears are 6-2. So
has that ever happened where a team goes from the number 1 to the number 7 in one game?
I'm pretty sure it has, but I can't tell you when. It's just one of those things that, well, maybe not, because this season's just so much weirder than all the other ones. But yeah,
wouldn't it be wild if it was like you could drop from the number 1 to out of the playoffs in one game?
That would be bonkers. I don't know how that would be a mathematical possibility, but it'd be funny. I'll give you that. So
have the three wild card teams
again,
be like right there.
Again, it's the Bears. They just, I don't know. Like, I want to believe, but I can't yet. I can't. It's the Bears. I need to see just a little more. I need to see them beat.
Would you say that
the
right
division.
Now they're still they're closer to being the Chicago Cubs than the Bears?
You proud of that one?
Too young?
No, I don't know, man. I just think they're ahead of schedule. They've been getting better, but they're ahead of schedule. The Packers and the Lions are a little bit more established, and I don't know. We'll see.
The Giants.
I'm sorry, the Cowboys and the Lions. I'm sorry, the Packers and the Lions are a bit more established, so I think that's why I believe in them a little bit more. But still, it's been a phenomenal season. They're no matter what, they're going to finish the season with a winning record, which hasn't happened in forever. So good for them. Somebody who's also vulnerable, it's the Buccaneers at 7-5.
Panthers are coming.
They might. Let me see the Panthers schedule, just out of curiosity.
I'm sure they got like a Falcons or a Saints game in there.
No, they swept the Falcons. So they have
What about the Saints?
Saints, who they lost to, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Buccaneers. So we have a pretty clear idea of how that division is going to be decided. And just
they control their future, right?
Yeah. Buccaneers have Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. So 4 out of their 5 final games, it's against their division. So
hell yeah.
Both of those teams, you can say they control their fates. And it's going to come down to those matchups between those two.
He said, look, I love Baker and that team's awesome. But wouldn't it be funny?
It would be hysterical if the Panthers get in there. And they have to go against, I don't know, the Rams. That'd be great. That'd be...
And they just smash them again.
Yeah. A team that I'm pretty sure is going to get in there is the 49ers. The 49ers are against the Titans. Actually, now that I look at it, I might be wrong. So they're up against the Titans, Colts, Bears, Seahawks. So that's not an easy schedule either. The Bears are up against the Packers, Browns, Packers, 49ers, Lions. That's not an easy schedule. Lions are up against Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears. All right. So we'll see. It's been a really weird season. The Packers are against Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. I don't know.
Okay, so and they finish fairly easy.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, not if the Ravens get their heads out of their asses. The Ravens actually have a pretty difficult schedule now that I look at it. Between the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens, the Ravens have the hardest schedule. Because the Ravens are Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So that's not easy. And let me see, the Bengals are Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. It's not terrible. Let me just see the Steelers real quick. Steelers are Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens. I think the Steelers control their destiny.
It's winnable.
If they beat the Ravens, at least split with them, they might control their destiny. So we'll see. Another team that I'm curious about is the Bills, because the Bills... Oh, okay. Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Eagles, Jets. Mostly winnable games, I think. So I think what's going to end up happening is the AFC South is going to cannibalize itself, and it's probably going to be, the Colts that get fed on. The Bills are going to be all right. The Chargers are going to be all right. And I think whoever wins between the Steelers and Ravens will end up here. And I think it's most likely going to be the Steelers. Just because they have
got an easier schedule.
They have the easier schedule overall. So, who knows? All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we skedaddle out of here?
Not a lot to talk about the Patriots, right? It's just like
they're in a bye week.
Right now. Well, I know, but it's like we're pretty much comfortable saying they're probably going to stay at the top.
Well, they have a super easy schedule, man. They're up against the next game they have after bye week is the Bills, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. So 50% of those are should be easy wins. The other two, well, I guess it depends on how the Ravens play. And they have one game that's for real. Again, it's divisional games. They could, 3 out of 4 are divisional games. They could lose for any of them because it's divisional games. And the Jets are playing better. But what can I say? There's nothing, sexy to bring up right now. You know what I'm saying?
And right now, it says that their playoff probability is over like 99%. I never understand that. What would be a scenario where they could be eliminated? Like they just lose out, I guess, and the Bills win out.
Maybe
and everybody in the wild card.
Yeah, the Bills can win out, and let me see, how far are they? The Bills are at 8, right?
Right.
All right, so let's say the Bills win out. That means that they would be up to 13. So there you go. And the Patriots lose.
So basically the only way they'd be out is if they lose out.
Kind of. It's just very difficult. Again, considering their schedule, but crazier things have happened. Bigger collapses have happened. But anyway, that's it for today. As always, comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario'sDW and at Super Dario World. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.